Do you have lots of unfinished sewing and quilting projects? Are you always buying patterns, fabric, and kits only to have them end up in an unfinished pile? In today's video, we're talking about how to tackle these projects that you want to finish. And I call these unfinished projects UFOs, as in unfinished objects. And I'm not talking about aliens visiting from outer space. I'm talking about your quilting and sewing projects that you once started but haven't yet finished. Join me as I share my tips and tricks to help you tackle your UFO pile and find the joy in finishing. Head over to the So Much More website and download your PDF for the UFO list. This is linked in the description below this video. On this list, you'll see there is a space to list the name of your project. You can also jot down a recipient name and a due date. There are all sorts of stages you can mark as well. Now, I've started my list with 3 quilt tops that are complete and ready for basting. A couple of these don't have a backing yet, and I can indicate that on my UFO list. I'm choosing a different color for each stage of the process. This helps me quickly identify how close each project is to finishing. I like to organize my project in separate storage bins. There are a variety of storage bins available, and I've linked some of these in my blog post. To help me stay organized, I write down each project on my UFO list, and then I indicate what stage it's in. Now, sometimes I'm not complete with an entire stage. For instance, this project is not fully cut or pieced, but I've started it. So I'm indicating the halfway point by only filling in half of the square. On my UFO list, I'm using the color red to indicate whether the project is cut, and I'm using the color orange to indicate if the project is pieced. Sometimes I like to buy fabric with a certain person in mind. For this fabric, I immediately thought of my sister, who loves the game of Monopoly. I purchased a panel and the backing with no clue on what pattern I was going to use. For the color coding grid, I'll leave the pattern section blank, but I'll fill out the fabric and the backing squares. So when I look at the UFO list, this helps remind me that I need to figure out a pattern that I can use for this panel. Now, this storage bin wasn't labeled, so all I have to do is type the name of the project on my label maker, print it out, and stick it to the outside of my storage bin. This helps me to stay organized and allows me to quickly identify the project in my storage closet. Do you ever have those projects that seem to never be ending? My Dresden plate quilt is one of those projects. I'm in no hurry though. I love to make these Dresden plates because they are a great way to use up small scraps of fabric. I like to take this project bin to sewing retreats because it's a nice, mindless activity to do in between projects. And who doesn't love a great scrap buster? Now that this storage bin is being labeled, it's going to be easy for me to remember to quickly grab this from the storage closet and head out the door to my next sewing retreat. I'm so glad I set aside some time to get myself organized and identify all of my UFOs. Making note of the various stages for each project is really going to help me organize my time so that I can have more finishes this year. And you know, it's kind of funny when I take an overview look of my UFO list, it's pretty apparent that I really like to buy fabric. Look at all that pink pencil mark. It's true you'll have a better chance of finishing your projects once you have them all identified and organized. Head over to my website and download your UFO project list today. Thanks so much for watching. If you loved watching this tutorial, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. If you want more DIY, go to the link in the description and sign up for my weekly newsletter. Every week I send inspiration directly to your inbox. For more tutorials, head over to my website and Facebook group, where there is always so much more in store.